4 minutes until showtime. 3 minutes until showtime. 2 minutes until showtime. 1 minute until showtime. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Insurrection, obstruction, indictments, civilly liable for sexual abuse. The one man responsible for all that could be sitting in a prison cell on election day and still be elected commander-in-chief for these United States. That man is beholden to Putin, weakened NATO the last time around, and is currently tying himself to wealthy Saudi oil money. He enriched himself when government stayed at his properties. He campaigned on wanting to use government to go after his political rivals and wants to expand executive power. If Donald Trump is re-elected, our nation is lost. So let's roll up our sleeves, get to work, and tell the MAGA folks no more before it's too late.
from New Orleans, Louisiana to join the conversation. It's area code 914-803-4131. That is 914-803-4131. You could also join us live in the YouTube chat over at liberaldanradio.com. It's the easiest way to get there, liberaldanradio.com. And if you're listening on Blog Talk Radio, just to remind you to head on over to liberaldanradio.com. That way you can join everyone else there, because I don't monitor both chats. If you're listening after the live broadcast, you could always leave your comments, questions, concerns, etc. over on the show thread at liberaldan.com, facebook.com/liberaldanradio, liberaldanradio on Twitter, and as always, the show thread, the episode thread here on liberaldanradio.com as well. To support the show, you could always, but most important thing, like the video, subscribe to the channel, get other people to subscribe to the channel, share the smaller videos that are out there, comment on them, like them as well, get the algorithms going, because we're trying to make that push towards 1,000, because once I get monetized, then the fun can begin, or more fun can begin, I should say. I just did my benefits allocations for next year, and I need the fun to begin. So, and I did some calculations based off of the added viewership that I've gotten, or the added views that I've gotten since I've started going 2 days a week, and it should be enough to get me there. So as long as we get to 1,000, we should be good. I just need to get to 1,000. So, you know, just gotta get there and gotta find. Where's the clip? I don't even know where the clip is, because, you know, my thing is, there it is. There is the truth.
It is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. Hey, Steve. Hey, Tim, Jolie, Aaron, Bill, Jeff, Dawn, Trucker John. Go follow Trucker John as well. He needs to get to 1,000 as well. Everybody who has joined already. 11 viewers, 7 likes. So don't forget to smash that like button before we smash the patriarchy. So, a bunch of stuff to talk about today. I was trying to get a Words of Redneck Wisdom uploaded in time, but it just wasn't happening. So I should have it for Wednesday. I should actually, after the show, have it done after the show. So if you're a Liberal Dan Radio patron, you might have access to it later today. To become a Liberal Dan Radio patron, you could, for as little as $5 a month, patreon.liberaldan.com or patreon.com/liberaldan. Either way will get you there. Or you can also support the show one-time support by going to liberaldan.com, clicking the Buy Me a Cider button, or going to buymeacoffee.com/liberaldanradio, or Liberal Dan on Venmo as well. Just do friends and family, because you're not buying anything from me. Let's see what's going on. Remember last week when I was saying I was having some major mouse issues, and my mouse is being a real pain in the ass with scrolling? And I was like, maybe I was going to have to restart the computer or reinstall the drivers or this, that, and the other. My tech support self it failed me, because I didn't do the one thing that you should do first before anything else. I didn't try unplugging it and replugging it back in. As soon as I did that, it worked fine. I did try new batteries. That wasn't it. It's a wireless mouse, so I had to unplug the wireless part that plugs into USB and replug that back in. Once I did that, my mouse started working fine. So remember that. Turn it off. Have you tried turning it off and turning it on again? Maybe we should try that with the nation as well. I have not yet seen the Tim Miller Carrie Lake exchange. I'm sure it was probably a great thing to see. Maybe I'll cover it Wednesday. Let me take a note of that for Wednesday. Look up Miller Carrie Lake. Okay. What else? So, news today. We got Tim Scott shockingly dropping out of the race. Yeah, who else is not surprised? What is it? Iago from Aladdin. I think I'll have a heart attack and die from not surprise. I don't do a great Gilbert Gottfried, so you'll have to forgive me on that one. Of the intention of the impressions that I do, not Gilbert Gottfried is not one of them. So making the presidential race, or at least the vice presidential race, I should say, much shorter, because unless something drastic happens, Donald Trump's going to be the nominee. He could very well be running from prison, but he's going to be the nominee nonetheless. And Ronna McDaniel said she'll continue to support Trump from prison or whatever. So yeah, Scott dropped. I mean, he was doing so poorly. It's not big news. I mean, maybe his support dropped even more because his South Carolina support was like, "Oh, I can't believe he's dating a white woman," because, you know, they don't like too kindly with interracial relations down here in the South in some parts. So, you know,
it is what it is.
I was wondering who was joining me for the podcast so early. It looks like I might be joined by a Rose again. We will see if she claws my back to jump up on the chair again, because during my live stream on my Twitch stream for nerdydan.com, she did give a jump up on my back, and it hurt a good bit. Yes, Scott finally showed up with a woman and then he quit. Yes. I've been quoting Aladdin a lot recently, because just as my nerdy part, like, I opened a bunch of like booster packs for this card game that I play, and I pulled 2 of the extremely rare genie cards in one box. And when I showed like a video that I did that, and like to one of my friends, and he was just like absolutely shocked. So I've been sitting, "Mr. Aladdin, sir, what do your pleasure be?" Well, that didn't hurt too bad there, Rosy Posies. Welcome to the podcast. Liberal Rose Radio. Talk from the left, that's meow, right? Yes. You're just gonna be up there and sitting, and you don't want love. Okay, she's just checking out things, saying a quick hello, and then going away. Key and Peele Black Republicans come to mind. Yeah, I mean, you know,
it is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. Then of course you got Donald Trump and all of his ideas that has come out. Supposedly he wants to do against sweeping immigration reform. He wants to round up people to be held in camps to await deportation. He's going to do an assault on immigration, supposedly, on a scale as unseen in modern American history. He wants to deport millions of people every year, including people who have settled in the United States for decades, which probably means like DACA recipients and other folks. Apparently they asked the Trump campaign for a comment. They declined. Of course they declined a comment. They're not going to admit that they're going to be terrible. And then, of course, you know, but it's par for the course. I mean, Trump did campaign on a total and complete ban of Muslims entering the country. It's also said that Trump would resurrect the ban that he did put in place, banning people from certain Muslim-majority countries, because he didn't actually implement the total and complete ban that he campaigned on. But, you know, why wouldn't we believe that he wouldn't eventually do that in the long run? He would also include asylum claim. He would revive a rejection of asylum claims because he would assert that migrants carry other infectious diseases, and as such, he would want to do that. You know, spreading more fear of people who are just coming to this country to try and seek asylum from the horribleness that exists in their own countries. He would ease the strain on ICE detention facilities by building huge camps to hold detainees while their cases are processed and they wait deportation. I mean, what could go wrong there? To underwrite the massive operation, Trump would direct Pentagon funds as he did with the border wall. We'll stop the invasion of our southern border and begin the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, Trump said on Saturday. He told a rally in Iowa that his operation would be along the lines of the Eisenhower model, which used a slur way back when. He wants to screen visa applicants for ideological views. He wants to try and end birthright citizenship for babies born in the United States to undocumented parents, like Vivek Ramaswamy has claimed, even though you can't do that without a constitutional amendment. He's even said that he wants to ban people who are pro-Palestinian from U.S. colleges. So, in violation of the First Amendment. So yeah, feet on the dashboard. I'm tired of the minority party effing everything up. Absolutely, but they've managed to gerrymander themselves into majorities in lots of other areas, and they have an unfair advantage when it comes to the Senate because we stupidly allowed such small population states to exist. What's up, Kimchi? What's up, Bill? Who else am I missing? I don't think I'm missing anybody yet. So that's some of the horrible things. I almost was tempted to make this thing part of another Just the Clip bit, but unfortunately I think it does need commentary because Trump in a video on the National Pulse, he said, nobody has ever seen anything like we're witnessing right now. It's a very sad thing for our country. It's poisoning the blood of our country. It's so bad. People are coming in with disease. Like, the idea that the blood is being poisoned, like, that really goes along the whole tainted blood type thing of white supremacists. That is just a dog whistle to all of his white supremacist supporters who are going to be like, oh yeah, he's using our language now. Tainted blood, poisoned blood, absolutely. He's our guy. We know he's our guy because he's going to be the one that's going to protect us, keep us pure and keep our blood unpoisoned. Because, that's the kind of guy he is.
It is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. So, it's really terrifying how much he wants to do, yet with the fact that Donald Trump is engaging in rhetoric saying that immigrants are tainting or poisoning our blood, that he wants to shut down First Amendment on speech on campuses by preventing pro-Palestinian people from even being on campuses, that he wants to do mass deportations. You have so many leftists and so many other people who would be like, I'm not voting for Joe Biden. Like, as if those are going to be your two choices. Your two choices are Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Again, you may disagree with how Joe Biden is trying to encourage Israel to not do the bad actions that they're doing. I mean, I'm going to disagree with people when they say that Joe Biden is aiding and abetting a genocide in Israel. We can discuss that if you want. I'll disagree with it right now. I'm open to your arguments, but at this point I'll disagree with it. But to believe that Donald Trump would be better for the Palestinian people, that's laughable. To believe that Donald Trump is going to be better for anybody who's in a marginalized and oppressed group is laughable. And you're just going to sit back and not vote or throw your vote away for a third party in states that matter? I mean, if you're in like Wyoming, I don't give two craps. Go vote for, Cornel West or RFK Jr. or Joe Manchin, whoever you think you want to vote for. That's going to be better for you because your sense of high morality is made to feel better because you didn't have to vote for Trump or Biden. Whatever makes you feel better, fine. I even think that people like myself, I would be willing to make a deal with people who are those angry leftists in, states that do matter. I'd be like, look, I'll vote for your guy if you vote for Biden, so that your guy gets a vote in Louisiana and Biden gets a vote over there. I'd do that too, but I'd have to trust that they would be willing to do that. Would they? I don't know. But the idea that you would risk Donald Trump becoming president again after what we saw after 4 years of him, after he was responsible for hundreds of thousands of American deaths from COVID, that he would, ban Muslims from entering this country, that he would deport millions of people from this country, period. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Say hello to Cassie, everybody. It's absolutely ridiculous that you would risk another Donald Trump presidency. Anyway. Yeah, Jill Stein. And the weird thing is, and the thing that I try and bring up, I was having some argument with somebody who refused to admit that I was right. I don't think he ever did come back and admit I was right on the app that Hal doesn't like on TikTok, and the guy refused to admit that if the people who flipped from Bernie to Trump would have simply just voted for Jill Stein or not voted, that Hillary would have won. And he was like, their votes wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have helped. I'm like, yes, it would have. It would have helped. It would have helped Hillary win. It would have made a huge difference. But they decided to go from Bernie to Trump. And that's just mind-boggling. So... Anyway, so I did record that, so I might have to edit that a little bit, but we'll see.
Should know better.
Should not. So, what's the next thing I wanted to talk about? Talked about that. Abortion hypocrisy in Ohio. Let's talk about this one for a bit, shall we? Because remember when, back when Dobbs v. Jackson was being debated, remember when many a Republican were saying things like, oh, abortion should be decided, should be left up to the states to decide. It should be left up to the people to decide. And I called BS on that way back when, say I didn't believe them. I had no reason to believe anything that they said about that, because this would just be the first in many steps that they would take. Ignoring the fact that Tim Scott, who is now dropped out, was on the debate stage calling for a nationwide 15-week ban on abortion. Ignoring that for a second, but all of these Republicans were out there saying we should just let it be up to the states to decide. Let the people decide. And now, personally, it shouldn't be up to people to decide. People shouldn't get to vote on rights. Rights should not be voted on. But as we all went over with Dobbs v. Jackson, the whole ruling is terrible and Alito is terrible, so there's that. And you can go back to that episode to understand why Alito's ruling was terrible. But now that the people had their say in Ohio, who had their say in Ohio, they overwhelmingly, twice, rebuked the Republicans in Ohio. Because first, the Republicans in Ohio were like, we're going to make it harder for this abortion amendment to pass. We're going to require 60 votes. instead of 50 votes for something to make it onto the Constitution. And that failed miserably because the pro-choice crowd was like, we're not falling for it. We are going to vote no on this because we want to make sure that our bill passes, our law passes, or our amendment passes later on in the year. So the pro-choice people won earlier in the year. And then they went ahead and won again by overwhelming majority because 57% of Ohioans said we want abortion protected in the state's constitution. So now, what are Ohio Republicans doing? According to the AP, 4 Ohio Republican state lawmakers are seeking to strip judges of their power to interpret an abortion rights amendment after voters opted to enshrine those rights in the state constitution this week. So the ink hasn't even dried. It's not even, in effect yet, I don't even believe. I don't know when it takes effect in the Constitution, but maybe it's immediately. I don't know. Some of these laws take a few minutes to actually get in and become official. Republican state reps Jennifer Gross, Bill Dean, Melanie Miller, and Beth Lear said in a news release that they'll push to have the legislature, not the courts, make any decisions about the amendment passed Tuesday. To prevent mischief by pro-abortion courts with Issue 1, Ohio legislators will consider removing jurisdiction from the judiciary over this ambiguous ballot initiative, said the mix of fairly new and veteran lawmakers, all who are vice chairs of various House committees. The Ohio legislature alone will consider what, if any, modifications to make to existing laws based on public hearings and input from legal experts on both sides. So, again, basically what the Republicans are saying in Ohio is we wanted the states to have their say unless they voted in a way that we don't like. Then we're going to go overturn the will of the voters and do what we want to do anyway, because hypocrisy is a conservative prerequisite. Hypocrisy is a conservative prerequisite. Thank you for laughing. Well, I'm recording this one too, so I can always edit that out and the laugh and whatever and edit out the flub. Oh, we got a call coming in. Who be that? Is that... Let's see. Who is that calling in? Bill's on hold. Okay. We will go to Bill. What's going on, Bill?
Hey, how you doing, Dan?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. Yeah, you were talking about hypocrisy.
Yes.
I taught a class last week before I had surgery, and I was telling them that I was talking about all the pro-Israel Republicans and how Tommy Tuberville's holding up all these military appointments, and he claims to be pro-Israel, and he claims to be pro-military.
Right.
And I sent his office a question about abortion, and I asked him, does he know the percentage of abortion in Israel? And they have the highest rate of abortion of any advanced country in the world.
Yeah, and it's amazing though how, like, there's this one TikToker who already blocked me because they're a very hardcore leftist. I mean, I consider myself a progressive leftist, but not enough, I guess, for these people. Who was doubting how progressive Israel is on many of issues, like abortion, like LGBTQA rights, etc. Like denying that if you are found to be gay in Gaza, that Hamas will literally like throw you off a building. Like you are not protected. So the people who would generally be supportive of want somebody to be supportive of LGBTQA rights are trying to call Hamas freedom fighters when they would throw gay people off of roofs. Like, it's crazy.
That's right.
So yeah, and
That's
then
exactly
the Republicans who will bend over backwards to try and be apologists for Israel when Israel does wrong, because I'm all for criticizing any government or any authority when any authority does wrong. Always question authority. and they're just will turn a blind eye to whatever Israel does because it suits their religious, ultra-conservative, evangelical rhetoric of the requirements of having a whole bunch of Jews there so that when the end times come, we can all die there. So, no better.
Right.
Pretty much no better than
Exactly.
Hamas. It's just a matter of when they want us to die.
That's right.
So.
Yeah, the day the Dobbs decision went down, one of the leaders in the Knesset had a meeting, and they lifted it was some type of a request system they had for a woman to get an abortion. They had to fill a request out, and then 98% still got approved. But they did away with that the same day the Dobbs decision went down in the United States.
Mm. And and problem is, was that, so that was making it harder for abortions in Israel, or what?
Oh no, it made it easier
okay.
because now they don't have to be embarrassed to go apply for it. They did away with the application system.
Oh, okay. That's even better. And was was Netanyahu in power at the time when that happened?
Yeah, it happened. Well, let's see here. Let me look it up real fast. The video's on YouTube. Let's see.
It might. I mean, there might have been a little window where it was like between Netanyahu when he lost and then he came back to power again. But I mean, even then, even though Netanyahu is trying to be a fascist and change the Supreme Court of Israel and change the rules so that he can't be prosecuted, and then engaging in horrific acts of wars in order to make people try and forget all of the things that he's accused of doing. Still then, Israel is still a very progressive country when it comes to those social issues. So,
right, the rules were eased the year. It was the exact same day that the Dobbs decision went down in the U.S. I can put it on City News now and see, because they did the story. I mean, immediately as it was happening, they showed it live. Israel loosens abortion rules just days after U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. I'm trying to get the date on the story. It just says a year ago, but it was the exact same day.
Let's see. Let's pull, and then let's see.
Just type Israel abortion, and you should be able to find the story.
So June 4th, well, I'm just looking for the date. June 4th, 2022. So it was Naftali.
It was their health. It was
Naftali
It was
Bennett.
their health.
Naftali Bennett was the prime minister at the time. So,
okay.
He is from the New Right Party, so he's not necessarily a leftist there. So it's still something that happened during somebody who was still a right-wing Israeli politician. So still, even though there was a right-wing Israeli politician in as prime minister of Israel at the time when that happened, it was still something that Israel moved more progressive on the issue of abortion as America went more fascist. So,
right.
So yeah. And as I said,
we had that.
Especially in America, conservatism has hypocrisy as a prerequisite. So.
That's right. Exactly. Hey, I was watching today, too, about Paul Pelosi testifying in that trial where he was attacked.
Right.
And it was just a shame that Donald Trump knew that Pelosi was going to testify, so he brought it up in the Veterans Day speech that he did, the hate-filled mess that he called a speech the other night.
Right. Well,
that was horrible.
That's what he does.
Absolutely horrible.
That's what his base loves. They thrive on his hateful rhetoric. The more he hates, the more they love it. They just, they'll cheer more. I mean, when he said back in 2016, if somebody, whatever, punch him or whatever, and they're like, yeah, let's punch him. He just loves to rile them up, and they love to be riled up. So.
Right. That's right. And whenever he mentions the word immigrant and communist, in his speeches, I just substitute a Jew and Bolshevik
Yeah.
because it's the same thing Hitler said.
Right. I mean, people
Exactly the
scoffed at
same
me
thing.
back in 2016 when I was trying to say that Donald Trump was using Adolf Hitler's playbook, play by play.
Yeah, he was.
And everyone was like, no. And I'm like, look at what he did. Look at what he continues to do. Look at what he still does. And, I hate being right as much as I am. I wish I was wrong more.
Yeah. That's right.
But,
But, another thing, did you see the testimony today of Jenna Ellis and Sidney Powell? They released I don't know, I guess when they did the mea culpa in front of the Atlanta prosecutor.
I was watching
And
a
they
little
released the
bit of the Sidney Powell one at the end of Hal's show. I did not see the whole thing with Sidney Powell or the Jenna Ellis one, but
Well, the good thing is it's on all the major networks now. MSNBC, ABC, most of the major networks are covering it now, and it's been in all the publications. I think the Washington Post covered it, the New York Times. So it's going to get out now. I mean, he's guilty of sin.
oh yeah.
And with these testimonies, and they've got more. If they release that, they've got much more from the other people that flipped. So I'd say a lot of people are going to be running to flip now, besides the 4 that have.
And although I think one of the things that they said, I think they almost said like the time to flip is almost over at this point. Like, if they wanted to flip, they should have flipped already, because now now the ball's rolling and they might have missed the bus, to mix metaphors or whatever.
Yeah, she may not. Bonnie Willis may tell them no. She may just say no. I've already got what I need.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta crap or get off the pot at some point, and these people were like, all right, I see the writing on the wall. Everybody else is like, Trump, hey, I don't want to go down with this ship, so
yeah, he'll never admit that he did anything wrong. That's his,
oh no.
It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable. The way the man just refuses to admit that he does anything wrong. And, I hire only the best and the brightest, and then when they leave, he just crashes the hell out of them. It's amazing.
It's all their faults,
I've never
his
seen
fault.
anything like it.
I used to always say that to admit that one is wrong, it just in the Republican Party in and of itself used to be seen as a sin. Like the only person you could ever admit that you were wrong to was in the confessional booth. Like that was the only time you could ever admit that you were wrong. But Donald Trump has taken that to like the extreme nth degree. Like it's gone to plaid, to use Spaceballs analogy. Spaceballs verbiage or whatever.
Spaceballs was great.
Yeah.
But it was nice talking with you. I just thought I'd call in and say hi.
You as well, Bill. Thank you so much. Good hearing you. I'm glad you went through one procedure well. Good luck on the next one. Yeah,
I'll be okay. Little laser surgery never hurt anyone.
Yeah.
Little science. Yeah. Well, be safe and take care of yourself.
All right. Thank you. You as well.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Let's see. So in the chats here, let's see. Kimchi, for 7 years, the mainstream media has been telling us to not overreact and compare him to Hitler. Everyone who studies his history knew this, and no one listened. A dang psychologist even wrote a book. I mean, yeah. I mean, there is a lot of times in the past where I've been like, look, don't compare this person to Hitler. You're being ridiculous. You're being insensitive to the victims of the Holocaust. You're being insensitive to the families of the victims of the Holocaust. You're crossing a line there. I didn't care if it was a Republican or if it was a Democrat. It was just a step too far in all of these circumstances, because if you're going to make that comparison, you got to make the comparison when it's absolutely applicable, or else you get into the whole boy who cried wolf scenario where you say it enough times and people don't believe you, and then when you say it and it really means it, you really mean it, no one listens to you at that point. Well, with Trump, it was to the point where I was like, well, here is why he is using Hitler's playbook, and you could clearly say, scapegoating an entire religion with his proposal to do a total complete ban of Muslims entering the country, his pandering to white supremacists, calling the media fake news, the Lugan press, the lying press. I mean, literally point by point by point. The only thing he hasn't done yet that Hitler's done, well, two things, was that he didn't get he'll never get the first thing, which he'll never get like a medal of distinction for serving in the military. That's never going to happen. I mean, maybe he'll award himself something, because, you know, maybe he'll buy somebody else's medal and take credit for it. But two, he hasn't been to prison yet. So.
You want this on a shirt?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
What?
Do you want this on a shirt?
What on a shirt?
Turn around.
What? I can't see. That's cute. Yeah, I'll take that. Wife's making cute shirts. For something I don't want to talk about yet because I don't know if people are sleeping in or not. Let's see. Easy Network. Should we talk about Donald Trump, the businessman who is not even running a social media site correctly? I mean, how hard is it to run a social media site correctly? I mean, I was like, is that a cat? No, that's my wife being a pain.
Show up.
You're trying to give me bunny ears or whatever.
Yeah.
My wife trolling me on my podcast, everyone. One of these days we'll do a Liberal Dan and Liberal Cassie joint podcast if she wants to join me.
No.
No, I guess that's a no. I don't get the benefit of having my beautiful wife outshine me on the show. Aw. Wah, wah.
It is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. What?
I can't contain my mouth.
You can't contain your mouth. Well, I don't know. I had Brit on and she was cursing like a sailor, so you never know. But yeah, Donald Trump, the businessman. Earlier today, I called into Jeff's show. I hadn't done it in a while, and I was talking about the Ohio thing. And one of the callers later was like, "Why does Dan have to talk about these social issues? Why can't Dan talk about other things? Like, why doesn't Dan call in and tell about how wonderful Joe Biden is?" I'm like, all right, I'll call in. I'll call in another day and I'll talk about how the wonderful thing Joe Biden is, and I'll call in and talk about student loans, and I'll talk about how Joe Biden's plan, the SAVE plan that was implemented, is saving me $250 a month on my student loan payments, and as I calculated over the course of the remaining payments that I have until my loans get written off because I've made the maximum number of payments, it will have saved me at least 30 grand. Or about 30 grand, I think, and then my point will be to predict what the future callers will say in response to that, which will pretty much be, and this is just me calling my shot. It'll pretty much be, as I predict when they say, well, why? You know, you should be able to pay. You should pay if you have a loan, you should pay your loan back. That's going to be the thing. When I say that Joe Biden saved me 30 grand, $250 a month for the remainder of my student loan payments, that they're going to be like, well, if you take out a loan, you should pay the loan back. And I'm going to be like, I guarantee you that the majority of the people who call in and say that are going to be Trump supporters. And I guarantee you those Trump supporters will have said in the past that Donald Trump was a smart businessman for using bankruptcies to enrich himself. And he was a smart businessman for making deals with somebody to do work for him, and then not paying that amount of money that was invoiced, and then saying, well, I want to pay this amount instead of that amount, and if you want me to pay the more, you'll have to bring me to court and sue me. But that was a smart business person. Meanwhile, me, I'm not a smart person for not taking advantage of everything that's part of my promissory note, the contract that I signed when I took out the loan. Like, again, hypocrisy is a conservative prerequisite because they will bend over backwards to praise Donald Trump for doing all of that. And I would argue that that's bad that he did because he was abusing the system to benefit himself and enrich himself. I'm just sitting here just using what's existing in the promissory note. So, these people just, they're very easy to predict. And I guarantee you they're easy to predict because I've done it before. I even did it with Jeff. I have an example of that. I should probably go dig it. I could probably dig it up somewhere. Let me go see if I can find it. Hold on. Let's see where it should be. Calling my shot. Calling my shot part 1. Here's me calling my shot part 1.
President Trump basically says that for the past 17 years that we've been under the thumb of Obamacare. 17 years, folks. That would make it 2001. Since before 9/11, we've been dealing with Obamacare. Have we now, President Trump? Now, look, people misspeak all the time. I do it. I just want to know, because of this whole 17 years comment, can we finally let go of Obama's statement about 57 states? He didn't even say 57 states. He said 50, and then it was a very long pause as if he was saying, yeah, how many states have you been to? And he was like 50, and he probably meant to say 47 states, but it just came out 57 states. And they're, oh, Obama thinks we have 57 states. Well, can we now just shut up about it? Because here we have your idol, Donald Trump, saying, Obamacare has been here 17 years. Well, maybe it feels like 17 years. I guarantee. Look, I'm going to call into a radio show that's local, the one I often call into, and I'm going to ask them this question about whether or not about 17 years, and can we get rid of this? And I will just guarantee, I'm not willing to bet any money on it, but I'm certain that someone, maybe even the host will say this. Well, it sure feels like 17 years. The host might not add the little rednecky laugh. But, yeah, I'm anticipating that's going to be the response. It sure felt like it.
Anyway, so that was me calling my shot part 1. Hold on, I need to find the second one because apparently it's not under, let's see, part 2. No. Jeff? Is it under Jeff? No. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. Where is the calling my shot part 2? I had it somewhere. Cassie's like, have you checked your butthole? Skid up it up butthole. At least Aaron will laugh at that if nobody else laughs at that. Yes, the back rubs would be for Liberal Dan After Dark, yes. You would think I would have made this really easy to search for. Unfortunately, it is not. It's not Jeff Response. That's very loud. Can y'all hear the cricket? Let's see. All that bite enough. No. I could have sworn I had something with Jeff. That it should have had Jeff's name in it, but I guess it doesn't. Oh, calling my shot. Called my. That's because it's not calling. It's called my shot. There we go. Here's called my shot, where the very next day I called into the Jeff Carrera show, and this is what happened.
there are people today who will today still bring up. I saw the other day, Barack Obama and his 57 state comments. When obviously it was just a misspeaking. Nobody who's reasonable believes that Barack Obama believes that there were 57 states when he said that, and nobody with a reasonable mind doesn't believes that Donald Trump really meant 17. That he really meant 7.
Well, and I appreciate you bringing this to my attention, because I didn't see where he said that. Was that in a speech recently, or when did he say that Obamacare was in place for 17 years?
It was in a press conference of some sort. There was audio and video of him saying that, and
Okay.
people of course jumped on it because he's dumb, and I said, look,
Right.
he obviously meant 7 and obviously misspoke, just as
Okay.
President Obama obviously misspoke, and there's no reason to make.
Well, I will agree with you in this.
To discuss.
I will agree with you in saying that Barack Obama is not dumb. I think Barack Obama is a smart guy. I just disagree with him on his positions. And I also would say this, and Liberal Dan, I appreciate the call, and thank you. Great to hear from you. I would say this, Donald Trump's not dumb. And I think both of them are smart. I just agree with Donald Trump's positions more than I agree with Barack Obama's positions. I don't think anybody can be elected president being dumb. I don't think idiots get themselves their party nominations and then get elected to the White House. And in the case of Donald Trump, you don't build a multi-billion-dollar business being an idiot. You don't succeed in the world of television with a reality show for years being an idiot. You don't become a first-time candidate and beat 16 entrenched opponents and then beat a candidate that's got much more money and all the media behind her if you're an idiot. I mean, you're pretty darn smart, if you ask me. So, yeah, I guess he misspoke. I guess he meant to say 7 as opposed to 17. And it probably feels like 17 years of Obamacare. Maybe feels like 70 years of Obamacare. But no, it's 7. All right. Thank you, Liberal Dan. Quick time out. Let's get a news update. We'll come.
And I couldn't believe how quickly I was able to call my shot and have it be right. But it was I was listening, and I just was laughing so hard in my car when he said it. I was like, oh my God, thank you, Jeff, so much for proving me right so quickly, because holy crap, this is wonderful. Steve, amazing how many Trump fans haven't seen any of his gaffes. Go figure. Right. I mean, how could they miss them all? Like the oranges instead of the origins, United States, like so many gaffes that he does, so many things that he gets wrong, and they want to say that Biden is mentally incompetent. I mean, I could look at the amount of times that Trump has gaffed. It's so many more times, and most of Biden's so-called gaffes are just his stutter. He has a stutter, and they're mocking him for a stutter. I had leftists who were angry at Biden when I was like, who were unfriended me simply because of the fact that I was like saying, look, don't mock his stutter, it's not cool. And they'd be like, it's not a stutter. I'm like, it is a stutter. He has a stutter. Shut up about it. Don't mock his stutter. It's not cool. It's very ableist of you to do so. Jeff, what is a cricket? A cricket is a tool that allows you to cut vinyl in patterns so that you could like iron or stick it on shirts. That's how the Liberal Dan Radio shirts were made. I need to get several people's shirt sizes because I have to, after Thanksgiving, hopefully I'll be able to fulfill the rest of the shirts that need to be shipped out. Let's see. See, that's why Kennedy is a legit threat. Why is Kennedy a legit threat, Tim? I guarantee you, though, that if for some reason, like everyone's like up talking Kennedy, how whatever, if for some reason that JFK or the RFK Jr. was able to get into the Democratic primary and win and beat Joe Biden, and I've heard people, mock him for his speech impediments as well, and again, that shouldn't happen. But I guarantee you that Donald Trump would jump all over it and mock him as soon as he became the candidate. Donald Trump would just mock the hell out of him for his speech impediment. As soon as it became beneficial for him to not, as soon as it stopped becoming beneficial for Trump to have RFK Jr. be around to threaten Biden, he would immediately start mocking RFK Jr. So What's up, Robin M? Good to see you. Jeff Curry, my Native American name is Runs with Scissors. And that's the other thing with easy. Don't mock his age. His age. I mean, but the thing is, like, Biden's too old to be president, and Trump isn't. Like, if we're gonna be talking about age, I mean, Trump's right up there. I mean, Biden might have him by what, like 2-3 years, but Trump's also an old fart. Like, lots of presidents have been old farts, but I trust Biden's old fartness much more than I trust Trump's old fartness. So Demonox, fun fact, you can get Oracal 631 and 651 vinyl at craft stores, or you can get Oracal 751 from a signed supply shop at almost the same price, and it's superior vinyl. She might know that because she used to work at a sign shop. So, your name should change as you age. My ASL name should not be the sign for whatever, blah, 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 blah. That kind of scrolled on me. We were able to get a crap ton of vinyl from somebody who was just basically dumping her vinyl for whatever reasons. So, lots of t-shirts to be made. Let's see. Let's scroll back to see what I love this Demonox one. Groceries are more expensive than ever under Joe Biden. He increased COVID vaccine rollout and made the crops gay. Now we have no food. Supply and demand. Boo Biden. That just makes me laugh. Yeah, easy E. Because we don't worship Joe like the maggots worship Trump, I don't have to validate my trust of Joe by bragging. Exactly. Like, yeah, they're like, well, there wasn't big rallies for Joe Biden during 20. That's because we were smart and didn't come out to COVID spreaders. We didn't want to kill our people like they killed Herman Cain. So, and besides, you know, if I haven't ruined the song for you yet, if you hear "Here I Am," rocked you like a hurricane, just replace "rocked you like I'm Herman Cain," and then, you know, you're gonna hate me for the rest of your life because I ruined the song for you. So, anywho, what's the? So there's that. Oh, I'm still recording this. Funny. That's gonna get a lot of edited out. Oh, I have a cat again. But is the cat coming for me or is the cat coming for Cassie since she's right behind me? That's the question. Probably for Cassie. Oh, you want a scritch? There you go. You got a scritch. Scritches. Most people don't drive around with big presidential signs of the person they support because it's effing weird. Yeah. I mean, I drove around one time with a big, gigantic sign on the back of my truck with the candidate I supported. It just happened to be me. But, you know, hey. Bill, my husband had a t-shirt that said vegetarian, Native American word for bad hunter. I have a Rappin' Rodney vinyl record still in plastic. We have a Trump board game still wrapped in plastic. Like, we found that at some point, and I was like, wow, it's still wrapped in the plastic. It's not completely perfectly shrink wrapped, but it's still wrapped in the plastic. So I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Welcome back, Rosy Posies. Oh, now you're really going to get up on me? Because I started scratching you. Now I've created a monster again. You are so funny. Nobody needs to see cat butt.
Yes, look at my butt.
You gonna purr away? You gonna purr away, little kitten? You need to get me more subscribers, Rose. Kitty time with Liberal Dan. Now, if Gloria would come in here, that would be amazing. But that's never going to happen unless I start playing some kitten meowing audio. I should do that, see if she comes running. Because the cat doesn't like me, but if on YouTube I play videos of kitty porn on Liberal Dan. That's for Liberal Dan After Dark again, I guess. The cat that doesn't like me for whatever reason will still come to me if I play a YouTube video with cats meowing, like especially kitties meowing. Kimchi, LOL. That's funny. Oh my goodness, you are purring away. Let's see if I can get you on. Nope, you don't want the mic near you. Like, no, don't put that mic near me. I don't want that mic. It's too big, too much of a monster. No, this cat is the good type of orange, not like Trump.
Oh.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Them drinks are really busy.
Mm-hmm. Meow meow means vote blue no matter who. She's like on my shoulders. It's crazy. Anywho. So another thing I wanted to talk about with the whole Israel thing is that, a lot of people want to say that being critical of Israel is anti-Semitic, and it's not necessarily true. There are people who don't know how to criticize Israel and end up doing so in an anti-Semitic way, and of course that's bad. But again, as I've said before, and as I've done before, if Israel does wrong, you should criticize Israel, because nobody in power should ever be immune from criticism. But one of the things I was thinking about over the weekend was, is it anti-Semitic to blame Israel for the creation of Israel? And I got to thinking, is that in and of itself anti-Semitic? And here are my thoughts on that. Let's look at the situation. We've talked a little bit about this before. You had, the Holocaust, and you had, the years afterwards, and you had Jews during and after fleeing Europe. Well, where could they go? The United States was like, no, we're not taking you. England, no, we're not taking you. No place on the planet would take them. Everyone was like, go here. Go to this little spot on the planet. And then the world goes, we're going to create these two countries of Israel and Palestine. So the world creates Israel there. It wasn't Israel that rebelled against some other country like the United States did against England. They didn't rebel and form their own country. Israel was created because the United Nations created Israel and Palestine. And then also when that happened, you had all of the Arab nations taking away all of the houses and money and businesses and property and wealth of all of the Jews across the Middle East, and they all had to flee. And again, could they go to America? No, the Americans weren't going to take them. Could they go to England? No. Could they go to Europe? The only place they could also go is to Israel. So, the Palestinians will refer to the creation of Israel as the Nakba or the catastrophe. And I used to maybe have a problem with that because of, maybe some ingrained issues there. But no, I can agree with it. What happened to the Palestinian people with the creation of Israel stunk. Because the world basically said, the Jews are not going to be our problem. Put them all here. And we're going to make a country for them. Plop. There you go. Here are the Jews. And that's not the Jews' fault that none of the world wanted them and forced them to go into this one little area. That's not and to blame Jews for that is anti-Semitic. So to me, if you're blaming Israel for the creation of Israel, which is not even something that Israel did, it's something that the United Nations did, then you're blaming Jews for being the victims of worldwide anti-Semitism, which is why the State of Israel was created. The State of Israel was created because of worldwide anti-Semitism. And again, did it suck for the Palestinians? Yes. It also sucked for the Israelis, for the Jews who had to go there because they couldn't go anywhere else. They might have wanted to go to America. They might have wanted to go other places. A lot of the Jews from across the Middle East probably wanted to stay where they were and stay in their homes and own their businesses and have successful lives where they were. But they were all forced to go flee their countries and have their property and businesses and money and wealth taken and had to go run to the little area. So to blame Israel for the creation of Israel, to me, is anti-Semitic. Now that once Israel defended itself from the initial attack, and now that Israel formed, and now that Israel is its own country, and now with a government and a military, after that point, any wrong that Israel does, absolutely, blame Israel for every wrong that Israel does from that point on. But at the beginning, no. Blaming the creation of Israel on the Israelis is basically blaming the Jews for being victims of worldwide anti-Semitism. And yeah, it sucked for the Palestinians. I'm not trying to say that it didn't suck for the Palestinians. Palestinians absolutely drew the short end of the stick, especially when after the war in 48, Jordan took over the West Bank and Egypt took over Gaza. So the Palestinians didn't even get the land that the United Nations granted to them in the resolution that created Israel and Palestine. So the Palestinians have been getting the crap end of the stick for a very long time, since before 47 and beyond. So no wonder they call it a catastrophe, because they've been getting hosed this entire time. But to blame the creation of Israel again on Israel, to me, is incorrect, because it wasn't Israel that created it, because it was an act of the UN, and you're basically, again, just blaming Jews for worldwide anti-Semitism. And if you want, you can leave your thoughts in your comments below, like and subscribe, and have a good day. And again, I recorded that, so just to get you know. Let's see, comments on that. Let's see. Scroll back up. If Trump is quoting Hitler, will Netanyahu distance himself from him? I don't know. Netanyahu was trying to cozy up to Putin a while back, so who knows? Netanyahu is probably more than willing to cozy up to anybody who will make his life easier and make it easier for him to retain his power. Let's see. Robin M. The 13, 14-year-old boys are being recruited online to be anti-Semitic conscious. Wait, what pisses you off, Robin? They're being recruited online to be anti-Semitic conscious. I read anti-Semitic conscious as being understanding of anti-Semitism, but maybe I'm reading you wrong. So maybe explain that. Soviets said no, even though they did shield some Jews in USA. Well, then again, Russia also had lots of pogroms, and many Jews fled Russia as well. So Dan has a thick shirt on to repel them claws. She's actually being not very clawy at the moment, which is nice. And I'm actually still surprised she's just resting up here on my back. I'm still kind of shook at that. I scrolled too far. Let's see. If Trump targeted you as a journalist who should be jailed for speaking against him, would you go to Israel? Let's see. Everyone of historical overview is warning of a fascist takeover if we don't vote and protect democracy. Exactly. If Trump targeted you as a journalist Who should be jailed for speaking against him? Would you go to Israel? Oh, talking to me. Would I go to Israel? I don't. I mean, it's pretty dangerous to be in Israel at this point in time. I don't know. Like, I don't know if fleeing to Israel would be the best idea. I don't know what I would do. Let's hope that Trump is not. I mean, I think at this moment Trump has bigger fish to fry than myself, at least subscriber-wise and viewer-wise, not necessarily body-wise. But I don't know. Maybe one day we'll be that big. So. Let's see, Jeff, my daughter has a pit bull that climbs up on me to lay across my back when he's a puppy. Still does, but now about 100 pounds. Yeah, my 70-pound pup is a lap dog still, and will probably always be one. All right, Easy E, just like Jews and money, Jews were forced into bookkeeping. We're also forced into money lending because Jews were the only people in certain areas that could lend money because it was against the religion for Christians to lend money to each other, so therefore the Jews had to do it, and then they got blamed for doing it. So, you know, it's like you force the Jews to do the bad thing, to do the things that you don't like, and then you blame them for it. That's the tale as old as time. Let's not forget Gandhi and... Is it what? 11/35/809 that gave Hamas the excuse to attack? I'm not sure what that means. Yeah, BB's like Trump, personal freedom from prison is all that matters. Exactly. Yes, you're right. Let's see. Demonox Yahoo is literally putting numbers on Palestinians. I'm pretty sure Yahoo would have been pro-Hitler. He doesn't represent Jewish people. He used them as fodder. How are they putting numbers on Palestinians? I haven't seen that. So I still don't necessarily believe that at this point in time that America is less safe for Jewish people than Israel, simply because Israel still has, you know, surrounded by people that want Israel wiped off the map. As such, I wouldn't necessarily I would love to go back. I wouldn't that's even just to visit. I wouldn't, simply because of the fact that I definitely wouldn't bring my family. If I had the opportunity as a journalist to go, like as a podcaster and do something, I would think hard about it and see what the security situation was going to be like before I even thought about it. I still would be very hesitant about it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it would be a place that I would want to bring the fam. I might want to go someplace else to like a Spanish-speaking country, since at least I know my boys speak Spanish. So,
We're going to Scotland and Ireland.
Oh, my wife wants to go to Scotland and Ireland because she likes how the men talk over there. She wants to find herself a Scottish lad. Big Hook, after 9/11, Sikhs were targeted as terrorists. Yes, they were. Even afterwards, much afterwards, they were targeting Sikhs as terrorists because, again, the people who Trump loved, the poorly educated, can't quite figure out how to discern the difference between people of different faiths. So, yes, Aaron, Jolie, good time for a show break. Support the show. Remember to like and subscribe. Support the show by being a Liberal Dan Radio patron, patreon.com/liberaldan or patreon.liberaldan.com. You could also support me one time. Go to liberaldan.com, click the Buy Me a Cider button, or go to buymeacoffee.com/liberaldanradio and buy me a cider that way. Or you can Venmo me, Liberal Dan on Venmo as well. The other thing to do if you want to help support the show is if you don't have a Twitch account, create a Twitch account and go follow me over on twitch.tv/liberaldanradio, because when we make 1,000, because I'm going to be positive and believe that at some point we will make 1,000, and when I do get monetized over here, at that point I will start streaming both here and over to the Liberal Dan channel on Twitch to try to become a Twitch affiliate over there as Liberal Dan, because I'm also one as Nerdy Dan. So that way I can be monetized in both places. And the first thing you have to do is get 50 followers. So why not tackle the 50 follower thing first and foremost? So go to twitch.tv/liberaldanradio to help me there. And again, as always, please remember to like and comment on videos, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Share videos with your friends. Say, hey, this guy makes some great points. Go subscribe to his channel. All that other fun stuff, just to help get the algorithms up, help get the subscriptions up, and help me get to 1,000. Because I've noticed in the last 2 days, I actually lost 2 subscribers. I don't know how, but I've lost 2 subscribers in the last 2 days. So, anywho. Let's see. P. I forgot to bring up Roseanne speaking at Trump's rally. It was unbelievable that she was cheered by MAGA after singing, crotch grabbing, and singing after the national anthem. Yeah, it's amazing how all you have to do is support Trump, and all of your past just goes away. For the land of the free. That's probably even sounded better than she did. The whole Judaism, ethnicity, and religion and everything is a hard thing to describe, because technically with any religion you should be free to leave any religion at any time, but there are people who are Jewish who do believe that being Jewish stems from the mother, so you're Jewish regardless of whether or not you're practicing or not. You might become apostate, but you're still Jewish if you have a Jewish mother. There are people who believe that even if you have a Jewish father, you're still Jewish if you're reformed. There are, and of course, the anti-Semites, Nazis, etc., the people that hate the Jews will believe that an ounce of Jewish blood will taint you, which is why Donald Trump's words we talked about at the beginning of the show about how the immigrants are poisoning our blood brings up such nasty ideas, because it harkens back to the beliefs that the others are tainting our blood and are making us less pure, because that's the dog whistle to the anti-Semites that Donald Trump is going to whistle all the live long day. And of course the Trump apologists will deny that he's ever doing a racist dog whistle, because that's what they do. Ooh, Aaron's tainted. Ben Shapiro's weird. Like, what's your take on Ben Shapiro representing Jews? Ben Shapiro, like, there was one TikTok video where it was like some Jewish woman was talking about how it's weird where you hate Ben Shapiro, but then you hear him standing up for the Jews and you start digging him. I'm like, no. Ben Shapiro is like a stopped clock. He may very well be right twice a day, but I'm still not going to buy it, what he's selling. I'm still not going to buy the stop clock, because he's still wrong the rest of the live long day. Ben Shapiro is clearly there are certain things that he's going to say that I'm probably going to agree with in this whole thing, but there are probably things that he's going to say that I'm going to disagree with on this whole thing, because he's a conservative and he's going to make certain arguments. Hell, there was something that, what was it? It was Tucker that said that was it Tucker? Tucker Carlson said one thing that made me be like, why am I agreeing with Tucker Carlson at this point? Again, stop clocks being right twice a day. There was that other idiot, the one with the big forehead that's not Matt Gaetz. I'm messing up my hair. The one with the big forehead that's not Matt Gaetz, the pundit guy. What's his name? Hey, Jojo Mojo. He said something like that it needs to be looked into whether or not Israel knew the attack was coming and just let it happen. And I'm like, that's something that I actually suggested might be true. I don't want to agree with this guy, but weird. I'm yawning too much. I don't know. I'm tired. It wasn't Hannity. No, it was somebody on a more... he's not on Fox News. He's like one of those offshoot, even more horrible ones. Charlie Kirk. Yes, Bill. Bill gets the prize of being right. Ben Shapiro is an overwound pocket watch. Except he doesn't even work, so the whining doesn't even help. He's just still just right twice a day. Yes, my Rosie. This is just crazy. Like, I could use Rose as a headrest at this point because of how she's laying. This is just nuts. Do you see her?
You're funny. So funny. I'm right here.
Like, I don't think I could lean back anymore. I have to lean forward now. Oh, no, now she's getting up. Mama's here. I see my mama now. I'm going to go see her for a second.
Mama.
She's hilarious. Like, I'm not allergic to cats, but whenever she's on me, I'll get itchy a little bit on my goatee. Like, I think the hair will make me a little itchy. No, it's not Bungholio. No, it's not him. Not the whatever one. Oh, we got the Rose back again. I can't decide where you're gonna go, Rose. Rose has taken over the podcast. I'm gonna lay back down on his shoulders.
Pet me, mother, pet me.
Actually, if she would just scratch me like right there on the top of my back, that would actually feel good. I don't want your butthole on my head, though. Are you gonna crawl into my is she gonna crawl into my hood?
You gonna get in Daddy's hood?
That would be.
Ow!
Did you get bit? Or...
Look, Daddy's got a little pocket right here for you.
Is it just me, or does anyone look at Charlie Kirk and feel like it's just a slide of him and you smell poo-poo? Probably. He probably doesn't wipe right. He's probably one of those people that think that wiping is gay. Because, you know, he would be. I can lean back a little bit. Look at that. Well, she's on her own chair now.
You gonna come with me? Huh? You gonna come with me?
Come with me and you'll be in a world of kitty fascination. She's looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? I didn't ask for a song.
Who is this sweet girl?
The guy dating Margarine Trailer Trash Gangrene has a 5-head. Well, you know. He better get used to, oh, everyone's getting to see your legs, Cassie. Look at that.
You want to see my bruises?
Yeah. She has, Aaron's like, legs! Her physical therapy is very abusive on her. Whoever's dating Marjorie Taylor Greene has got to know that they're going to get cuckolded. I mean, I think you have to assume that anybody who chooses to date Marjorie Taylor Greene at this point, A, has a Cabbage Patch Kids fetish, and B, has a cuckolding fetish, because you got to know that she's going to cheat on you with someone at the gym. So Roger Stone and Bannon have that poop greased just yeah. I agree with my wife. The religious right is obsessed with other people's genitals. They are. Because remember when they're the ones that brought up the whole cuck thing? Like, they're the ones who kept calling people cucks all the time. And was it 2020? Like, it was like cuck this, cuck that, everything. Like, cuck here, everywhere, cuck. Like, everything was about, they were obsessed with cuckoldry. It was, and then like, during the whole debate over Obamacare, it was everyone was shoving Obamacare down Obama's throat, and it was like, there's some imagery that I'm thinking you have some unworked out repressed latent homosexual issues that y'all need to work out if you keep fantasizing about Obama being shoved down your throat. So yes, projection. Projection. Anywho. I didn't do a lot of whole planning for tonight's show. So I think, and we've covered pretty much all the topics that I want to cover. We don't have Gibson Media here arguing with us for a nice reprieve for the day. if you're just lurking, hey Gibson. Well, sure. Every conservative accusation is a confession. That's what happens. Sci-Fi Channel hires MTG to make alien-looking footprints. Hilarious. Anywho. What? Anyway. So, I believe that because of that, because I've covered all the topics I want to talk about, I'll probably just go ahead and end the show for tonight. So... where is the show end? Oh, I was looking for a clip. That's why I can't see the show end clip. There it is. So this is the end of today's episode of Liberal Dan Radio. Talk from the left. That's right. We will be back Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central. Whoever's calling in, you're too late. Wednesday, 8 p.m. I think that's Khalil, but I'm already ending the show. 8 p.m. Central. Same bad time, same bad channel, liberaldanradio.com. Tune in Thursday, twitch.tv/nerdydan.com, and then nothing for a week. So, till Wednesday, this is Dan Zimmerman with Liberal Dan Radio. Talk from the left. That's right.